Hello, everyone, and welcome to Knockdown Sports Radio. It is May 30th, 2018. My name is a very sinusy Chris Calicut alongside my partner in crime, Mr. Cody Teague. How are you, my man?
Man, I'm doing great. Good to be back with you. I love doing this and just shooting the crap about the sports and stuff that we shouldn't be talking about, and I'm ready to do it again.
See, two late 20s white dudes, right? Better, semi-athletic, talking about social issues, whether it's our place or not. No matter if we have 2 listeners, 2,000 listeners, it's good to have a voice, right?
Well, we could have better voices, but this is our only platform, man. So I mean, we're going to be talking on some stuff that is really weighing on some people here early in this show.
Yeah.
I'm pumped about it. I tweeted it out. I was the one that was wanting this show more than you did, I believe. But I'm pumped, man. I'm ready to get this show on the road. I've missed you. I'm good to hear your voice. I'm glad I can't see your face, and let's do this.
Yeah, as Cody said, if you're listening through YouTube tonight, if you're live with us, we are audio only, but hopefully we will be getting this ripped over to our audio streaming services. Now that we might actually have a little more time to do this a little more often. It only took us 3 weeks this time instead of 3 years, which is that's progress, right?
Man, we're on pace.
So we'll get it back eventually, but I want to remind everybody where to follow us on Twitter. You can follow Cody at CRTeague008, and you can follow the show, which is also my primary account, at Knockdown _ that was close. Knockdown_media. We changed our Twitter handle a couple months ago. It is now Knockdown_media. But to get to the task at hand, man, I heard you had your puppies have learned a new trick, which is kind of neat, and you had to do a few duties before tonight's show. That's the reason we're running a little bit behind, yeah?
Yeah, man. I mean, my dogs don't like to go out in the wet grass, and I had to make sure they had a place to go use the bathroom. And I don't know if it's a good trick or not, but it really upsets me having to mow a wet yard, man. I mean, you talk about first world problems. That's about as bad as they get.
Yeah, but apparently, like, they can play Xbox now or something too, right?
Oh, that's right, man. Yeah, we got put behind because I'm sitting here trying to get this camera working that obviously didn't work. And I hear my little dog just use her snout to turn on the Xbox. I thought it was my wife thinking she was going to game out for a little bit, but I forgot she doesn't game. So.
Well, see, here's the thing, right? You got your puppies who are turning on your Xbox. I had to keep my little man today by myself for like one of the first times ever, 13 months old. So like Daddy Sunday, right? And he's got this whole fascination with my PS3. And we're sitting here watching stuff because I use PlayStation View. And we're just chilling, watching Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and whatnot. And he just goes over there to the PS3 and goes, beep. I said, son of a. And then you can't call him that because then you're calling my wife stuff, and then I'm in the doghouse and, stuff like that. So similar problems, just you have fur children. I actually have of the human variety at this point.
All right, man. Hey, it's all right, though. I'm glad little man has an interesting game. So, I mean, that's all that matters.
He has an interest in beeping sounds. So,
well, can we touch real quick before we continue on that your wife trusted you alone with the child?
Well, see, here's the thing. I don't get the opportunity to do that nearly as much as I want to because of my work schedule. And I was a little bit nervous going in, right? But it went pretty well, I have to say. Now that he's a little over a year old, he's pretty much running at this point. Not walking. He kind of skipped the whole walking phase. But now that he's a little more self-sufficient, I can take care of him maybe a touch better. So it makes my job a little bit easier. So I don't have to – he's not easily as breakable these days.
I know. That's why I waited a year to see him. That way I could try to hold him and know that I wouldn't hurt him. See, I had an ulterior motive behind everything, bro.
I hear you, and I'm glad that worked out okay for you. But on to the task at hand here. So about a week ago, actually I think a week ago today, the National Football League, otherwise known as the NFL, unveiled a new policy at their owners' meetings that deals with the National Anthem. Now, if everybody recalls the whole Colin Kaepernick thing over the past couple of years. And if you'll go back and listen to the old, and I mean old KSRs where I was riding solo for a little bit, you'll hear my take on that. Those are actually kind of fun. Some of my favorite shows I've ever done. But you know, it almost went away, Cody. That like this whole thing got super quiet. Like nobody was really talking about it. And now we have to have a policy in place that makes people do what they don't necessarily want to do. Like, why couldn't they leave well enough alone at this point?
Well, because the NFL is worried about money. Let's be real. This whole situation that we're talking about comes down to dollar signs. Mm-hmm. But to me, and I know me and you listen to the same morning radio station, and there was someone who called in and they spoke and they said something about how most Americans want people to respect the flag while the national anthem is on, or else they're not going to show up and, you know, support you with their money and come to your games and stuff like that. I mean, if anyone's ever watched the show before or spoken to me, they know that I don't agree with that. And I think that anthem shouldn't be played at sporting events. That's just me. Yeah. As we spoke about in the past, that's just how it is. But this is all dollar signs for the NFL. But the thing that really upset me the most is that, yeah, I know the owners are the ones who's footing the bill for the players and everything like that. But the NFLPA was never consulted on this. This was a completely rogue decision. And if you want your players to play, then you got to make sure that the voice is heard from the players. And now we have players unnamed, maybe a few named, I don't know them off the top of my head, saying that, well, now if you're going to do this until Kaepernick is signed to a team and Ed Reed signed to a team, we'll sit out. We don't care.
Yeah, and just to review the policy for everybody who has been living under a rock for some reason, doesn't follow the NFL. I know some of our viewers are not necessarily overall sports fans. Some of them are wrestling fans that may have followed me over from another website or whatever. But the anthem policy now states that players and personnel must stand on the field, not necessarily with your hand over your heart, not at attention. It says they must stand on the field, but they have an option for players and personnel to stay in the locker room if they don't agree with that. And the teams are subject to fines if the rules are not followed as the way they're stated. So to basically break this down, there's going to be a lot of empty sidelines during national anthems on opening day of the NFL, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I unfortunately, I think that's what it's going to be. I mean, my thing is I wish the NFL and most people would understand that this is not a protest of America or the flag. It's not meant to disrespect the flag. It just happens to be a peaceful protest during a time where people get pissed off if you don't do what you want them to do.
Right.
And that's where we're at right now. I mean, no offense to anybody who's listening, but Kaepernick's right. I'm sorry. Black people have it rough, and it happens. And for him trying to do a peaceful protest, he's not out here shooting up people. He's not out here robbing people trying to prove a point. He just took a knee. I mean, my God, we have people committing mass murders who get less attention than Colin Kaepernick, who just took a knee on the field. And that baffles me.
It does. And you have to see sort of like, all right, so for me, it's like, what do you think the flag stands for? Like that. If you ask 10 people, you're probably going to get at least 5 or 6 different answers to that particular question. Some people are going to say, well, that stands for our military that are fighting for our freedom. You're the millionaire. You're the one on the field. You shouldn't be the one protesting. You have it good.
But you just said the magic word, though.
Mm-hmm.
Freedom.
Right.
I have the freedom to do anything I want.
Correct.
They fought for it. I heard a man at a bar in Asheville who was ex-military, a veteran, say, I don't see what the big deal is. I fought for their right for free speech. They're using it.
Absolutely. And like I said, it kind of depends on what you think the flag stands for. And you're going to have a ton of different answers to that question. But really these millionaires or whatever that people want to call them that are on their knees doing these peaceful protests, they're doing it for those who are not as fortunate as they, because they have the platform and the spotlight to do it. I mean, this is weird coming from me, is it not? Like, this is
I wasn't ready for that. You should see my face right now.
Like, all right, so that's a situation. That's a situation where you wish the video was on right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Not a lie.
Because I've sort of turned the corner a little bit on this, because the older you get, the more you see the world, the more your opinion changes. And now that, we talked about this a little bit on the last episode, where my wife's a teacher in a not necessarily profitable area per se. And, you hear stories about this stuff all the time, and, kids have it rough. So why not let those more fortunate guys have that platform, in my opinion? But what sucks for it is because now the cameras on Fox, CBS, NBC, ESPN, excuse me, are not going to be on necessarily the guys that are kneeling. They're going to have a camera inside the tunnel figuring out who's not out there,
Yeah, and that's something I've been thinking about too. It's like, if they don't come out, then I don't believe. I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't come out. I wouldn't want to be a part of the NFL's money game on this. Not because I have anything to protest about. I don't. I know I have it good. There's no question about that. There's just people that have it a crap ton worse. And unfortunately, again, as Kaepernick has pointed out and Ed Reed has pointed out, it's mostly African Americans. I think everyone can agree with that at this point. But my thing is, if they're just going to stand in the tunnel, I don't think they need to stand in the tunnel. I think they need to stand in the locker room, and then the whole team go back in and come out, and you don't know who's there. It shouldn't be a guessing game. This is going to hurt the NFL more than it helps. And it's going to end up being a year or two before they recover from this. It's going to hurt TV ratings. It's going to hurt people being in seats. I mean, I'm not going to miss a game. I have no problem with it. But
yeah,
there's going to be people who do not tune in. There's going to be people who do not go to these games, season ticket holders backing out. You got to think, with the New York Jets owner says, I don't care what they do. They have their platform. They can use that platform. Well, you got to think, for, again, whoever I heard say it the other day, most Americans. Well, if you're looking at most Americans, that means MetLife Stadium is going to be missing a quarter of what already is not showing up for a Jets game. So, I mean,
a little shot at the Jets there. That was good.
Oh my God, dude, the Jets suck. Let's be real. There's no good team in New York right now, except for the Yankees.
Yeah, that's good. And the Bravos walked off the Mets again last night. Sorry.
Anyway, digress.
Anyways, but all right, so you actually had a really good point at the very beginning of the show by saying it's going to affect the people in the stands. And I know you reiterated it there at the end, but let's look at it from a different perspective. If you look at one of the more quote-unquote patriotic sports in America, NASCAR, they are dwindling. And that's not necessarily because of their stance for the flag, because they're, good God, I mean, you want to see some red-blooded that probably bleed red, white, and blue. They're probably at a NASCAR race. But their numbers are hurting because of the lack of buzz in the sport and the marketing or whatever else. But that's just sort of a counterpoint that says it may not even matter what stance you take, as long as you keep the product on the field or on the track or in your marketing in a positive light.
Yeah, I agree with that, but you got to think, once the bad boys of NASCAR got out, that's when ratings went down. Yep. You got to have something edgy. Something edgy makes people watch. But the thing is for some reason, again, mass murderers get less attention than what Colin Kaepernick did. And that's what I don't understand. So we need more Kyle Bushes in NASCAR. They need more bad boys to be in there to bring eyes back on them, because all these young guys, they're by the book. Bubba Wallace is trying. He's trying to be a badass. It's just not working for him. But the thing is that's why I can't compare the two, because you have the good old boys who were gone and their fans left with them, and our generation's not watching NASCAR, to where you have every generation who watches the NFL. Every generation is mad because of somebody taking a knee. And then that equates to a totally different scene to me. So I understand the comparison between the two and what you're saying. I just don't think they can be compared, because it's two different areas. Because every single racing team in NASCAR, from not understanding, at least I know Roush came out with one right at the beginning of the season. Like, if anyone decides to protest, they're gone. They're not on my team anymore. I mean, I think it was Roush. I could be wrong. But my thing is that they did that for that team. You can control your team. If somebody on your team does something you don't like, I'm sorry, you can fire that person. But to do it across the whole league and to not consult the NFLPA about it, I mean, there's no good outcome to this. There's zero good outcome to this. And if you can find one, I'd love to hear it. But I just don't see that. I don't see it happening, man.
I think the goal was uniformity, and really they got the opposite. They thought they could put like a blanket policy on it and that everybody could do the same thing, but they still left them that out to be in the locker room, and it's not going to work the way they hoped. They tried to appease both parties, and I don't think either party's happy. But the crazy thing about it for me is that the owners unanimously voted for this change.
Except for the Arizona Cardinals. He did not vote.
I believe was it the Cardinals or 49ers? One of those two did not vote. One owner did abstain from voting.
That's a red team on the West Coast. No one cares.
The 49ers would make complete sense if you think about it. But, since that's what Kaepernick was. But there has been a lot of player feedback already. The Panthers' new wide receiver, Torrey Smith, who I believe used to be a longtime Baltimore Raven, alongside Ed Reed, who's one of the main protesters as well, has pretty much said this was the wrong solution. It's not a solution. It's just an additional problem.
Yeah, and Steve Kerr of the Warriors said that too during the interview.
Steve Kerr has other things to worry about, in my opinion. I love Steve Kerr. I applaud his social justice warrior, mentality.
Well, he got asked the question and he answered.
Yeah, I know.
He answered the way he was supposed to.
I know, but I couldn't resist the pun there.
I know. That was cheesy as hell, but I'll allow it.
But it ironically segues into the NBA Finals, Cody.
Thank God, man, because we got to stop doing serious stuff at the beginning of the show.
Heck, this might turn serious too, because this is where I get my basketball coach glasses on here, kind of. But NBA Finals, the Warriors defeated the Rockets in 7. The Cavs defeated the Celtics in 7. The first time that both finals series had gone to the distance in 40 years, 39 years. I think 1979 was the last time that happened. And I think that was a ratings ploy. You cannot tell me that the NBA is not fixed in some form or fashion.
Oh, God, no.
They've got us on a string because it's more of a soap opera than it is a sporting event these days, and it's kind of sad. But I will say that both Game 7s got some of the highest ever ratings for their respective networks for the NBA in a long time, if not ever. So you have the Cavs and Warriors going to the finals. Game 1 not too far away, I don't think. And I believe it's tomorrow night. And I believe that's going to be in Golden State because they're the higher seed.
Correct.
So I believe they're the 2 seed in the West. The Cavs were the 4 seed in the East. But just looking back on those last 2 final series, LeBron has to have his, he needs to be going to a chiropractor, man. Like his back's hurting. Right?
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, I hate that. I hate to agree with you because, I don't like anything LeBron James. But, my God, what more can the man do? I mean, he has nobody. He has no supporting cast.
Which is weird because they thought this midseason trade was going to solve a lot of problems as far as the depth, and it's done quite the opposite.
Yeah, I mean it's absolutely insane, and I've never seen anything like it. I'm sorry, you got to think Kobe, Shaq, Dwayne, and Shaq. Jordan had a supporting cast around him. The Boston Celtics and the Lakers of the day back in the 70s, they all had a cast. There's no cast around LeBron. It is LeBron. And I've never seen one man beat a team like he can. And it hurts me to say that because, as you know, I am not a LeBron fan. But my goodness, what more can you say? I mean, he is a legit freak and a legit athlete, and he knows how to put the team on his back and say, hey, you know what? I'm winning the championship, because every time Alabama Crimson Tide wins their championship, LeBron wins the championship. So there you go.
Yeah, a little bit of foreshadowing there every time with the Alabama thing. That's actually a pretty good stat there, Cody.
Thank you. Every other year, when Alabama loses, Cavs lose. Every time Alabama wins, Cavs win.
Well, there you go. So anyways, yeah, LeBron, freak of nature. But what impresses me is pretty much game 6 and 7, he went the distance. I know game 7 he played all 48 minutes because he had to. And, there was talks of him being tired around game 3, game 4, and then magically he found a cure for this tiredness that he had. And then he just went completely crazy, pretty much a triple-double every night. Now, there were some turnovers, but when you're the only guy trying to make plays or the only one even making any plays, you're going to have some turnovers. So the stat sheet's not going to be completely clean, but his style of play fits a defensive matchup of any type, because there is no equal for his athleticism necessarily. If you put Kevin Durant on him in this upcoming series, he's going to overpower Kevin Durant. If you put Draymond Green on him, Draymond's about 3 inches shorter than LeBron. He's going to go over him, or he's going to do something, even though Draymond's a fantastic defender. But I don't know if LeBron has it in him to carry that team over an actual team that is Golden State, who has, stars and solid players for days. Like, they can go 10 deep and not really lose much steam,
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I want to say I respect the Cavs too for coming out, and LeBron coming out saying that it's not me, it's a team effort.
Yeah.
We all know that's BS.
He did the anti-Cam Newton. I put on Twitter after his Game 7 interview that Cam Newton needs to learn interview skills from LeBron James. Was LeBron laying down on the ground and then he sacrificially got up because he just played 48 minutes to do his trophy presentation? He did it. He could absolutely teach some guys in any league some lessons on how to put over a team.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, heck, we're talking about the younger generation. I'm sorry. If you want a role model, LeBron's it. He doesn't – I mean, he showboats less than Seth Curry does. I mean, let's be real. I stand by that. I stand by it. He doesn't shimmy every time he hits a three. But –
not every time, just the big ones.
Yeah, until Chris Paul shimmies and then pulls a hamstring.
That was fun.
But my thing is that I'm with you. Again, statistics say when Bama wins, Cavs win. But, I mean, the Warriors, they got shooters. I don't think the Warriors play a lick of defense. I mean, they're off and on, and they decide on when to save energy and when to not, which I think that's fine. You have to last through a 7-game series and then more than likely another 6 to 7 game series with the Cavaliers, I would have to guess. But, I mean, I'm sorry. You're a paid athlete. You're supposed to be in shape to play all these games.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to give a little shout out to Jeff Green from the Cavaliers. He stepped up. Last couple games he started. Game 7, since Kevin Love was out, so he pretty much got stuck in that 4 position, kind of the 5 position as well. But Jeff Green played for the Celtics for the first few years of his career, and then he actually went out of action, and I believe it was 2011 or 12 with open heart surgery, and it's kind of bounced around the league a little bit. And this is sort of a redemption story for him because I think he had close to 20 points and a handful of rebounds and assists in Game 7 to kind of be the only aid to LeBron that night. So really good stuff from Jeff Green.
Yeah, no, he's a fantastic story, and just the fact that he's even playing, whether he's in the running for a championship or not, is something we could all look up to.
And my only question about the whole East is how the heck does Kendrick Perkins get a T-shirt and a hat out of this deal? Like, how is he even on the roster anymore? I thought he was like a special advisor, like Big K, Kendrick Perkins, big boy. He can't shoot, he can't defend, he can't do anything but beat people up. But somehow he's still got a hat and a T-shirt.
Wait, is he in the league?
Hashtag he's still in the league, bro.
Well, shows how much I know.
I know, right?
My God, I didn't even know he was still a thing.
Yeah, he's still a thing. They signed him to their playoff roster, and then he got hurt or something. I don't know. But the reason the Warriors are in the NBA Finals is because Mike D'Antoni can't coach.
Oh, no.
All their offense is isolation. It doesn't matter who has the ball, whether that be Paul, Harden, Ariza. They try to ISO everybody. They don't defend. They don't defend at all. And Mike D'Antoni, Mike D'Antoni, former Phoenix Suns coach, when they were in somewhat of a good string with Steve Nash and that crew, they were all offense. They were the Warriors of their day, kind of, sort of. And he just failed to make adjustments. And there was an ACC, a North Carolina connection, actually. Jeff Bzdelik, the former Wake Forest coach, is on D'Antoni's staff, who also could not coach defense. So, kind of a trend there. But the Warriors in the second half, especially in those last couple games, were pretty special.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's what it is. Like, they got the experience of being on the big stage. Houston, they have the talent, but they didn't have the experience of the big stage. You can't go out in a Game 7 and miss 12 consecutive three-pointers.
27.
Consecutive, though?
Yeah, you're pretty sure they missed 27. Like, they were like two for 29 or something.
I know, man, but at one point they missed 12 in a row.
From what I heard, I saw a stat today that James Harden had a more likely chance of being struck by lightning on the way out of the building than missing like 9 straight threes or 12 straight threes or whatever he did.
Damn, that's a stat.
That is a stat. But
I guess my thing is that Mike D'Antoni does not deserve a job in the NBA. Okay. I can't do that. He can't finish. I understand you need a coach to try to get you over the hump, but he's not it. And when you lose a Game 7 and you come off and say, my guys ran out of gas, how can your guys run out of gas if they don't play defense? There should be plenty of gas left in the tank.
Well, here's the deal. Rich Harden, I can understand him running out of gas because he's the only dude that's going in ISO pretty much all the time. And he's the one trying to make the plays, the crossovers, the loop-de-doos, and the traveling and the fake flopping and whatever else Harden does. But I can understand him being tired and maybe a couple other guys, but they really should not be tired as a team, but they just did not have the depth and the sharpshooters really to put up with the Warriors.
Yeah, I mean, again, just to go back to what you said earlier, the NBA is more of a soap opera, and I just can't seem to manage to understand about how perfectly everything is playing out. I mean, you got 2 Game 7s, you got Warriors Cavs again going to the final. When I'd have probably watched if it was the daggone Rockets and Celtics. I mean, because that Celtics crowd during their series with the Cavaliers,
they were fun.
Oh, they was about as raucous as the Vegas Knights in the NHL playoffs. I mean, it was absolutely unreal.
But my God, what an introduction they had for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals.
Well, I mean,
it's Vegas after all.
As long as the Caps doesn't win, that way they have no more cups than the Hurricanes will be all right.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. The old shout out Sports Channel A, guys.
Fantastic.
Follow them on Twitter if you're around the North Carolina area. But so prediction time: Cavs, Warriors. Who you got? How many games?
Man, I'm gonna go Warriors in 6.
I'm gonna do Warriors in 5. I think LeBron is finally done. He can only take these guys so far, and if he wins a championship, I will say this will be the greatest feat that anybody has ever done in sports when it comes to one guy carrying a team. A lot of people are already saying that. I won't give him that accolade yet, but if he wins a championship with this team and it goes the distance, then I think this will at least put him in the conversation as the GOAT. But we're not discussing that topic. I refuse to talk about that topic on this particular program.
Good, because I do too, and we will never talk about it if I have my way with it.
But in appreciation for LeBron, our good friend of the program, Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba, decided to go on Twitter and kind of insert himself in the GOAT conversation. He was basically saying, enjoy my 5, enjoy MJ's 6, and enjoy LeBron's quest. Like, it's such a Kobe thing for Kobe to put himself in that conversation, isn't it?
I mean, is he wrong? Is he wrong, though?
Yes. Yes.
Dude, I'm sorry. I love Kobe Bryant. I have always loved Kobe Bryant. But, besides his off-the-court issues, I have always loved Kobe Bryant as a player because there's not too many people out there who has the determination that Kobe Bryant had. I understand that Jordan played through the flu one time, but I'm sorry, running down the court and shooting some free throws with a torn Achilles, I mean, that's pretty impressive too.
I'm doing a podcast with a sinus infection if that works.
I can't, dude. Don't try to insert yourself in the GOAT category. All right. Hit the end button real quick.
All right. So from one off the court issue to another, and I brought this story to your attention right as we were going on the air.
Yeah, I'm really interested in this.
Philadelphia 76ers owner Brian Colangelo pulled a Kevin Durant and got some burner accounts on Twitter. Now, it takes either a petty or a sick individual, especially an owner, somebody in his situation, to make at least, at this point, 5 burner accounts that were talking about players, past and present, from the 76ers, as well as talking to other teams and providing them with supposedly redacted information about health reports and things like that. But if you're the owner, I'm kind of speechless. I mean, it's almost, did somebody set him up for this? Or I don't know, man. Just give me your take on that whole situation.
Well, I mean, I was reading up on it, and Colangelo told Jordan Schultz of Yahoo Sports that someone's out to get him, and the accounts which surfaced in the report were clearly not me. So, I mean, he's denying everything, as anybody would. Mm-hmm. I could understand somebody famous wanting burner accounts. I mean, I guess that makes sense. But then again, I'm a millionaire. I own a basketball team. Why would I want burner accounts?
To talk about my own team.
Well, but you're the 76ers. You were the most talked about team all year and half of last year due to the process. You don't need help with that. You didn't need help with this.
In several years past because of their tanking.
He does he need help to meet? I hate to say it. I'm sorry. You're a famous person. I'll go ahead and put it out there. Do you need help trying to meet women on the side? Do you need help trying to make money on the side? Do you need help trying to get in somewhere where you shouldn't be? When I hear burner accounts, that's what I think of.
Right. Some sort of illegal activity, which technically, if he's trying to sway people from either getting signed or getting traded from his team, then it's still kind of tampering, so to speak.
Well, and it's crazy because, once these reports came out, 3 of the accounts suddenly became private.
Yeah, funny how that happened, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I'm sitting here just going through all of this, and here's the thing I don't understand. Private information about the health of Philadelphia players and possible trades the Sixers were planning.
Yeah.
Why would you do something like that, Chris? You're the basketball mind here, man. I need you to explain what kind of BS this is.
That was part of the process that we're supposed to be trusting, apparently.
What the hell?
That's a new one. That's a new low, because I think it was Jahlil Okafor, who's had some issues, who played for Duke for a little bit. That was one of the guys that was targeted as far as the health information. But it's a weird situation. I kind of hope they figure it out. But the funniest fact to me is some of these good reporters, journalistic reporters that are social media savvy, went in and tried to do the whole like password reset on his account or any of these accounts. And they came up with, how Twitter gives you all but the last couple of digits of your phone number so you can get a text to reset.
Right.
All of those accounts that were in question came back with the last 2 numbers of the phone number. So obviously all 5 of them, no matter who's doing it, whether it's him, whether it's an intern that he's hired, whether it's somebody trying to blackball him, they're consistent, we'll say.
Yeah, I think it's shady. I think there's something wrong. And I think that more than likely something bad is going to surface from this in the movements that we have going across America right now.
Yep, most definitely.
I understand that he's probably trying to help his team with the things you're telling me, with the things I'm reading, but, bro, you don't make 5 burner accounts, you ain't doing something shady.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, it might not even have been Sixers related. Who knows what else he's involved in. True. If you have that kind of money and that kind of pull, you never know, right?
That's right.
All right, sip of lemonade for the working man, as Old Cold Steve Austin would say.
Oh, I'm drinking beer. Anyway.
Okay, there you go. See, we have all these popular topics, but no top to pop.
Man, I messed up. I'm sorry.
It's all good. I forgive you. But from top to pot, kind of, sort of.
Yeah. Let's do this story.
So, a young man named C.J. Harris is going to be, or was going to be, a preferred walk-on, not a scholarship player, but a preferred walk-on, which basically says if you stay on the team, you're going to get a scholarship in the next year or 2. He's not going to be like me walking on to a Division II tennis team per se. I was not a preferred walk-on. I was a, we'll call it sympathy walk-on. You may have been as well, but I didn't want to include you in that conversation.
I was going to say, you're the sympathy. I'm the pity.
All right, so C.J. Harris, he played football for highly acclaimed Auburn University. Story came out this week that he was denied this spot on the roster due to his use of cannabis oils to treat his epilepsy. So he does have seizures. Marijuana, cannabis, hemp, whatever you want to call the different styles and substances of this medicinal use, has been clinically shown to help treat seizures and epilepsy. So do you have a problem with them taking away his spot, because cannabis is obviously on the do not use list of substances on the NCAA?
Yes, I absolutely do.
Thought you might.
Well, yeah, as you know, I'm the liberal side of the show.
All right, CNN, calm down.
Boy, I'm more liberal than CNN, man.
The Cody News Network over here.
Oh, God. But my thing is that if it helps, which it does, I can't give examples because I ain't trying to get anybody in trouble. But I have known friends who have certain issues who either smoke or do other things. And if it means getting them off pain pills where they don't have to take those since those are more addictive, or if they just help with the pain in general, that way you don't even have to get on pain pills to start with. And if it does what it's supposed to do and it's legal, because depending on how he's doing it, I don't know legal or illegal, but my thing is, if he's not getting high off cannabis oil using or getting his epilepsy taken care of. He is doing it to calm himself down. That way he can stay calm and do what he needs to do to perform life. I mean,
yeah, not just football, life.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, the drug is frowned upon because of everything that goes along with it. Because you associate it with parties, you associate it with just getting stoned. People don't look at it for the medicinal reasons. That it just doesn't happen. And that's very closed-minded of everyone who doesn't know how it works. I mean,
I'm about to blow your mind.
Look, let me say this. I got people in the business. I know how it works. Excuse me. I got people in the legal business who actually do it legally, who know how it works, to know what to do with it, to where it just doesn't get you high. It helps you out. So that's my take on it. I can't say too much more because I don't know who's listening. You know, my mom might click in. So, I mean.
Hey, Tracy.
But, I'm ready. Look, if you make me throw my headphones off like you did earlier, agreeing with the anthem, I don't know what I'm going to say, man.
Oh, I'm about to get you even worse.
I'm not ready.
Okay, so we were having a family cookout over at the in-laws.
I'm definitely not ready. I am definitely not ready.
On Monday, and my wife's grandfather, who shall remain nameless, is a pastor who you've met on a couple different occasions. And you know his stance on a lot of stuff.
Yes, sir.
And Salida was in there grilling him, right? As far as we were talking about the legality of it in North Carolina, how it's probably kind of close to becoming legal, at least for medicinal purposes. True. And he more or less says that he thought God edits what is sin based on what it's used for. And if weed, cannabis oil, hemp oil, whatever is used to help people elongate their life and have a better quality of life, she eventually got him to say it may not actually be a sin, that he would be okay with it.
I didn't know I was going to church. Yeah, I'm still here, barely.
Okay, I was about to say, you still with me right now?
Barely. I am barely here.
All right, so, I'm not necessarily on your complete end of the spectrum. I'm still over here to the right just a little bit. Maybe not quite as far as I used to be, right? But,
I don't even know who you are anymore.
But if it's for the good of the person, if it improves the quality of life, if it's not abused, if it's not used to do something illegal, to do something dysfunctional to society, to the law, to whatever, I'm not completely opposed to it anymore. Now, would I do it? Would that be my first choice of medicine? No, probably not. But I'm not in a situation, fortunately, where I would have to test that theory, so to speak.
I plead the fifth.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask you anything about that. But anyways, it's weird, man, because I get it. NCAA has rules. I get that. But I get that.
Can we touch on, because I want to make sure we get to this before we move forward.
Yeah.
Because the later report says that he was denied due to a pre-existing medical condition. It didn't say that he was kicked off.
Well, they changed the report. Now,
okay.
It doesn't. All right, so it depends on who changed the report, right? So to me, if the original report was because of cannabis oil, that's either the pro-cannabis people speaking out, or that's the original journalist not diving deep enough into it, if the report was incorrect.
Right.
Now, if the report later said it was because of his actual epilepsy and not the cannabis oil, I can kind of give them that. But since that came out 3 days after the original report, to me, that feels like a cop-out.
Yeah, and it does to me too. And that's the thing. I hate it for this young man. I mean, he's just doing what he is needing to do to make sure that he's living a good life. I mean, that's it. He's not out here trying to get high and mess up somebody's life and out here partying. He's doing it because he has a legit medical condition that he's being punished for with the drug that he's using to assist him with feeling better. And I understand it's college and that's a whole different realm, and that the NCAA ain't going to exist in 5 years anyway, so who cares? But I mean, that's another topic. But I think that's where we're at, is that it's not acceptable everywhere. And no offense, he's at Auburn. It's not going to be accepted. I mean, he is in the deep South. It's not going to happen. It wouldn't happen in North Carolina at a ACC school. It's just not going to happen. So I think that has something to do with it, or else this would be completely covered up and we'd never hear anything about it. But with him being at an SEC deep South school, it's all over the place, and that's the only reason why. I hate to play this whole card again that we talked about earlier. He is a black man at an SEC school in the deep South using marijuana. He can't win.
No, probably not. And I don't care if it's 2018 or not. It's still there. The stigma is still there.
Oh yeah, we're not saying anything that people don't know around us. So.
Oh yeah. So
are we done with serious topics yet?
Yeah, we're gonna have a little fun here.
Oh, thank God. Woo. All right.
So I gotta quit weighing this show down, man. But hey, you know what? A lot of sports podcasts, wrestling podcasts, they don't like to get into the social issues for whatever reason. People are scared of them. I think that's where we come in. Whether our opinion's right or wrong, I think having a voice on these social issues to start a conversation among people to help better our situation is a good thing. So that's the reason I kind of like doing these, somewhat controversial stories.
I do too, man. I love it because I will say, I expect you to disagree with me more, and I don't really know how to react to this whole podcast today, to be completely honest.
I'll get back to that eventually. I'll get back to that.
I mean, I'm a little lost for words, but yeah, no, man, this is great. And I mean, for the 3 people who get this far into the podcast, I mean, it's real. I mean, wow. I hate to say it, but it's real. Wow. Hey, come on, man. Maybe we'll get 5. You know what I'm saying?
One of these days, the right set of ears is going to be listening to us and sign us to the same deal that WWE just signed with Fox. A 5-year, $1 billion deal to air SmackDown starting the fall of 2019.
Dude, people can hire us for $100 a year, and we would be set. I mean,
that's about what we've made in the past. Actually, a lot less than that, because YouTube is stupid. Sorry. Hey, we got the views. They just won't give us the sponsorship because of we don't have quite enough subscriptions as of yet.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, 2H Brewing can't sponsor, man. I'm sorry.
I know they kind of went under a little bit.
Hey, we're brewing this weekend, all right?
Okay, so they can sponsor next week's show. Cool.
Hey-o, all right. Well, Chris,
speaking of the WWE, right?
Yeah. You got the chance to experience something that seemed to be a little fun in terms of the Twitter account that was going on Tuesday. Tell us a little about that.
I did. The Twitter account actually stayed fairly active all night, which was good. So I went to Raleigh, good old PNC Arena. SmackDown Live, 205 Live was there. And I got a chance to hang out. I'm not affiliated with any wrestling websites anymore, so I was there of my own accord, and it was a good show. So have you checked out any wrestling at all lately, Cody?
Absolutely not.
Well, that's unfortunate, but because I had to cough there. So, anyways, here's my deal. Like, the biggest thing I took away from this show was not only were the matches fun for the most part, but I'm a nerd or a dork or nut, whatever you want to call me, for live event production. Like, that's one thing that fascinates me. That's why I kind of like the whole podcast world. And whenever I did them solo on another distributor and another recording platform, I used to do the whole commercial thing. I used to do the intros and the outros. And why I'm so detailed at my job when I put on events and stuff like that is I'm a sucker for detail and production. And to see a crew of, probably 20, 25 people run an absolutely seamless television show live is pretty freaking fun and unique, because you're seeing these dudes in black shirts and pants and caps and headphones listening to the producers in their ear. They're setting up stage devices. They're changing the mat on the ring. They're changing out ring ropes. They're doing this and that during commercial breaks. They even have these LED boards on the floor now to where they had ladders because their Money in the Bank pay-per-views coming up. They had outlines on the floor because it was LED of where the freaking ladders went. That's pretty cool. Like, do you like the whole fascination thing there of like what's your favorite thing of like watching a concert or watching a live event?
Yeah, well, I have to say I'm all about production value and how you keep the person's attention the whole time. I'll say I went to a Tech Nine concert last year. I know that's going to be a strange comparison to what you're talking about, but from the start of the show to the time that he went off stage, the most dead time that you had was 3 to 5 minutes in between people who performed. And that's how it should be. And I think that's what the WWE does very well. I mean, I've been to a few live events with you. They keep you entertained in that crowd the whole time, to where even though I have to use the bathroom, I'm not getting up because I want to know what's going on. Like, there's going to be something that somebody does not get to see at home that we get to see and enjoy because we paid that extra money to get there.
And I did, thanks to Ticketmaster's fees, by golly, Jesus Christ. That's a different story. But no, and like you said, they were moving announce tables, during commercials, that there weren't any matches. They have promo videos of things that they're pushing and stuff like that. So while the guys are working to get everything done, your attention's on a screen somewhere. Obviously, I try to outsmart them, and I'm fascinated by the whole production value. But it's a neat thing to see, man. And if I ever get a chance one day to do something similar, I don't care if it's for the WWE, because my wife would kill me because of all the travel. But that type of business fascinates me, and that's why I like to think I'm okay at my day job and when I put on events and stuff like that. It's because I kind of have that same mentality. But just talking about the show itself, there was some segments that were announced after I purchased tickets that kind of made me sad and regretful, but they turned out to be pretty fun. Like, I'm not exactly a fan of dance-offs in a WWE setting. And they had two of their ladies, Lana and Naomi, who are going to be in a ladder match for that Money in the Bank briefcase in a couple weeks. They had a dance-off, but each one of those ladies has two guys on their side. Naomi's married to an Uso brother, so the Usos came out to help her, and then Lana's married to Rusev, and then they also have a guy named Aiden English who does like the little operatic singing intro for them. Because I know you haven't watched in a while, so I have to somewhat explain some things. But they made it into like, and not to be late 20s white guy again, they made it into like a diss battle, a rap battle per se. Kind of like that setting where you're the one doing the work in the front, but your crew's in the back going crazy, trying to look like the dude in the GIFs, where they're just going crazy on the GIFs or GIFs, ever how you pronounce them. on Twitter.
Yeah.
They kind of made it into that, and I was like, okay, they pulled that off. Good job. I don't regret my decision now. And the main event of SmackDown was originally planned to be Daniel Bryan, who you know, and Samoa Joe, who I think you've at least heard of from like TNA.
Yes, sir.
Before he got to WWE. That was their first one-on-one match in over 10 years. They faced each other in Ring of Honor back in the day. And I was super excited for that one. And then a buddy of mine who works for Fightful.com, actually runs Fightful.com, Sean Ross Sapp, I've been DMing him earlier in the day because he sometimes gets scripts or spoilers or something of that nature. And I was like, should I buy tickets, man? Because I feel like something's going to mess this main event up. And he got the script about 30 minutes before the show, and he DM'd me as soon as I got to the arena. He's like, Big Cass is going to be inserted into that main event. It's a triple threat. And I was like, Big Cass, 7-foot guy, about 6'9". But
he's pitiful.
He's not the greatest worker in the world. He definitely bogged those two down a little bit, but the match was fine. It wasn't amazing. The match was fine. But the real reason I went, and I knew this wasn't going to get messed up, was the Cruiserweight title match on 205 Live, pardon me, between North Carolina's own Cedric Alexander and a newer guy, not really a newer guy, he's been in WWE for 5 years, Buddy Murphy. He's been down at NXT being a tag team guy. He's also Alexa Bliss's, I think, fiance at this point. But they've been on fire. Cedric's from Charlotte. I've never seen him wrestle live. They absolutely tore the house down.
I saw.
Tore the house down. Probably a top 3 match that I've ever seen live. Maybe 1 or 2. I've been to a couple NXT live events where they were really good too. But amazing match. Well worth your time to go on the WWE Network to check that out. Sip of lemonade for the working man, not the drinking man. There we go. It's getting toward the end of the podcast. Voice is gone. But besides the production tricks, besides the good matches, had some fun people around me. We enjoyed the show. Had pretty decent seats. Wish I could have covered it for somebody, but we're still working on that, getting back into the old wrestling journalism business a little bit. But so I mean, we'll see. But what I was honestly proud of was our North Carolina crowd. You've been to some events with me where the thing is left less than half full and people are not paying attention and you can hear a pin drop in the arena. The atmosphere was amazing live. Like PNC had the top 2 sections open. They had the 300 sections roped off. But I would venture to say probably 8,000 to 10,000 people. The lower bowls are probably 90% full. And they were loud all night for the things they should have been loud about. They booed for the things they should have booed. They yayed for the things they should have yayed. And I had to watch it back with Little Man today on television from the DVR just to see how it translated on television. And it translated awesome. Like it brought a tear to my eye how good that crowd was.
See, that's good because you got to think that time we went to Raw live, it did not translate well to television. We had a great time in the stands, and the crowd was very active. We had chants I've never heard before. It did not translate to television, though, so that's good to hear.
So, I mean, Greensboro, last time they were there, they came for Starrcade back last November. The house was full and loud that night, too. So maybe they'll make some more trips back through North Carolina and bring some bigger events. So really, really happy about that. But enjoyed my time. Hopefully go back soon. Hopefully covering it for somebody next time around so I can get my tickets comped. But that's beside the point. Anything else you got before we head out, my man?
Go Bravos. I mean,
still in first place by the skin of their teeth.
We got 2 young Braves fans with the best National League record right now. I couldn't ask for more. Like I almost cry every day thinking about it. It's
true. In this team, you can get emotionally like connected to because these dudes try their butts off.
Yeah,
like you can tell they're having so much fun. They're a true team. you're seeing these veterans like Freddie Freeman, Nick Markakis, who are all hitting over 300 and should be in the All-Star game. Make that happen, MLB. Like, they're just so happy to see these young guys like Albies and Acuna. And Acuna is going to be out for a bit with a potential ACL injury, but pardon me. But it's just awesome to see, man, because it's the first time we've had a reason to cheer in a long time.
It really is, man. And I have an old manager of mine at work. He's a huge baseball fan. He's a Yankees fan. He's from New York. That's okay. He's still a nice guy. But my thing is that me and him was talking earlier today, and I was like, I haven't had a reason to cheer for the Braves in about 5 years. So
at minimum.
I want to end on a high note on this podcast, that whoever I saw write the article for USA Today saying that Braves were not a shoe-in, that they're just a hopeful, and that the Nationals are a shoe-in, I hope you're wrong. That's all I got to say.
I thought you were going to say something else there, but
I thought about it, but I changed it at the last moment.
Okay, well, I appreciate you being the voice of reason on this podcast. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, who are you? Who am I doing a podcast with?
I have no clue. But hey, remind everybody where they can hit you up on Twitter.
Man, I'm at CRTEAGUE008 on Twitter. Follow me for everything, I don't know, fun, sports. America's Got Talent got back. I'm watching that. That's my guilty pleasure. So holler at me.
Dogs, beer.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hey, brewing a beer, IPA this weekend. At 2-H Brewing. Holla. There it is.
Yeah, they'll be the sponsor of next week's show. So we're still working on that part, guys. This is purely hobby and fun at this point, and if we didn't have fun, we wouldn't do it. But I'm just glad we actually got the time to get back on the airwaves these days. But you can follow us, the show, that is. Cody hops on a lot. I'll primarily provide the wrestling coverage and NBA coverage, but Cody hops on with a lot of different stuff. But you can follow us on Twitter at knockdown_media on the Twitter page. Kind of deactivated the Facebook. You can search us, Knockdown Sports Radio, on YouTube. Please subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up. That helps us out a lot. Believe it or not, us being hobbyists and all that still helps us out. And whatever you do, man, just share it. Do what you got to do. If you like something, hit us up. If you didn't like something, we'll be happy to talk about it and discuss it with you. And just share it. See if we can get our voices out on the airwaves a couple times. And we'll go from there. But for Cody Teague, my name is Chris Calicut, and we'll see you next time on Knockdown Sports Radio. Thanks, guys.